Hey guys, welcome back. Hope that you had some good conversation, that you were able to pull out the Christ character and to have some gospel conversations after watching this film. That we're hoping that you touched on some of the main themes like adoption and loss and all of this stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. One of the things that maybe you caught, maybe you didn't, I'm not sure, is really how the older character of Saru lines up with the character of Jesus pretty well. I mean, if I didn't use the name Saru and I didn't use the movie Lion, I could say that this is a movie about someone who hears kind of the call of someone who's lost and decides to kind of step into another world in order to go and find them. That along the way there is definitely a series of trials. There's certain temptations. There's a moment where he has to reconcile with the father figures and ends up kind of leaving everything in order to truly unite the family. I mean, obviously Jesus does this, that God hears kind of the need of his people for salvation and enters into the scene. Philippians 2, I think, does the best job of talking about how Jesus really leaves the throne and takes on humanity, that he becomes humble to the point of death, even death on a cross, and that while he is here, certainly goes through temptations. He's tempted by Satan, he's tempted by Peter, in order to really give up the search, give up and just go ahead and be comfortable. And then he obviously reconciles with God the Father in Gethsemane and then chooses to sacrifice everything, to lay it all on the cross so that we could be united with the Father. And Saru, in such a similar fashion, he kind of hears this call of his brother, decides to embark on this crazy search, and in doing so, he gets tempted to just say, forget it, man. You're in Australia. Have a good time with your girlfriend and your mom. And but then his parents ended up kind of reconciling, understanding like, no, this is a purpose. And he leaves everything behind. He kind of sacrifices the 99 in order to go and search for the one. Mm-hmm. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah. But also we get to experience the journey with young Saru from the very beginning, right? You're there when he gets lost. We're there when he starts his journey. And I think the parallel there is that we are often like young Saru. We're lost, we're confused, we're broken, and realistically, we're the cause of it, right? His brother says, stay on this bench until I come back. And he wakes up and he freaks out and he heads off in his own direction, and then he gets lost. And we do that too, right? We kind of chase after these certain things and they end up kind of crushing and destroying life for us every once in a while. Like, for example, when he's in the underground, right? He's been lost for a while, and he goes and he finds these friends, and they're all homeless together, and they go and they sit, and he thinks, maybe if I can just find some peace and some security in this community, then I'll be better off. And in the end, it betrays him, right? They're attacked, and there's people coming to steal these kids away, and we do the same thing. We chase after friends, and we think that, well, maybe having these relationships will satisfy that deep longing inside my heart. But really, the only thing that can satisfy that is Christ. And then Saru moves on, and he's found by that lady on the railroad track, and she gives him a soda, maybe for the first time, and he gets food and he gets comfort, and it seems like this is it.
Yeah,
he's got it made.
Yeah. And
what happens? Well, he ends up almost being sex trafficked, is what kind of the film implies. And the same thing happens to us. Maybe not the sex trafficking, even though that's a terrible, awful reality. But really, we chase after materials. We chase after food or the next iPhone or the next newest, best thing, and comfort. And we think that eventually if once we get that next thing, then I'm going to be satisfied. Then I'm going to be secure. Then I'm going to be safe. And really,
betraying us.
Yeah, and it ends up betraying us. And really only in Saru being found and adopted and through this orphanage, maybe not in the way that he expected, or it didn't look as fancy as maybe he thought or expected it to be, but he's called, he's found, and he's adopted by the Australian parents.
Yeah. It's that concept of adoption is definitely something that is all throughout Scripture, that we are adopted by God the Father, and we are brought into His family, and it's a better lifestyle than kind of the life that we left. And I mean, I guess that kind of lifestyle thing transitions too. There's some major social justice issues that come throughout this movie. And one of the reasons why it's just kind of so tough to watch is because of that. And one of the things that hit me the hardest, I think, was just how discarded Saru was at the beginning. How like truly nobody cared. And we were doing research on it, and I guess 80,000 kids go missing in India every year. And when you see kids running around, like, people just didn't care. And man, I see that in our culture today, but it parallels that too with the relationship between Saru and his brother Godu, and they're like the way that Godu like just cherishes his baby brother and cares for him and loves him and is there for him the whole like throughout the whole process. I mean, I think that's who we're called to be people who are loving and caring for people in humanity, no matter where they are, all across the globe, to treat people as people.
Yeah. Also, it brings up this idea of poverty, right? We are shown through the lens of this film an insane amount of poverty, and realistically, sometimes the issue there is Hinduism as a worldview kind of promotes this, because if I'm experiencing karmic retribution, right? If I've done some crappy things in my past and now in my new life I have to pay for it, then why would somebody else ever intervene with what is my karma? Right? And so no one cares for these kids. No one cares for the poor, the sick, the broken. And Mother Teresa, is the first to enter into Calcutta and kind of change that. But it's something that's huge. And
absolutely.
upsetting.
I mean, you see some of that. Remember when he goes up to that idol, like when young Saru is lost, and he kind of goes into this kind of temple sort of place, and there's that goddess, and instead of turning to the god for help, he just eats the food. And like, there's definitely something to be said about meeting somebody's physical needs as well as the spiritual needs. It's a huge movie, super powerful. Thank you guys for tagging along with us. Here's kind of what we're thinking, is that we can do stuff like this all summer long. Man, there's a list of movies that we're going to be watching where you can invite kids into your house, you can play the movie, and then follow some YouTube films like this just to help you guys out in some of this discussion process. Maybe you can talk to your friends about what it means to be adopted by God the Father. You can be taking part in sharing your faith and doing something super real for them.
Yeah. All right. We hope that you join us next week, and we'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye.